everyone, and welcome to Cinematic Schematic, the official podcast of the Cinematropolis.com, your home to thoughtful conversations on film. I'm your host, Caleb Masters, and today we are here to put an end to this wet, hot American summer. That was summer 2025 at the box office, at the movies, at the cinema, however you want to describe it. We're going to start by talking about how the summer at the movies was overall. What did we think? Was this a great summer for films? Was it a bad summer for films? What was good? What worked? What didn't work? Next, we'll talk about a handful of the movies that we've missed, covering on this show specifically. And then we'll close out by giving summer 2025 a letter grade. It's had its ups and its downs, but one thing has been consistent, and that is my co-host, an award-winning Oklahoma filmmaker, and he's got a new movie in the pipeline, Laron Chapman. Laron, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here. I'm excited to give this wet, hot summer a wet, hot grade that
a wet, hot grade that's a sloppy
D. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
This got gross really fast.
I'd like to actually leave, if that's okay. I changed my mind.
This is, I regret this decision to agree to be on this podcast. Well, listeners, you can hear him. He is KJYO-FM, iHeartMedia, member of Critics' Choice Association, and recurring guest host on the show, Jason Black. Jason, welcome back, sir.
Hey, thank you.
It's been way too long since I've had you on the show.
It has, and I've noticed. No, it's fine.
know.
You know me.
I started dating these other radio guys, we bring them in, and then there was a British guy who showed into town.
I know. I'm all in on that guy. I love that guy.
Yeah. Adam's awesome.
Adam's great.
Big fan of Adam Courtliff there. I guess we
run into each other.
Specifically when school's in, we often find ourselves at the
We have
Dolby.
very similar tastes for the theaters we prefer.
Yes, and when
The rows we prefer.
Yes.
Don't give it away.
No,
and we typically go to the same showings of movies.
Yep, like on Thursdays, which is
Yep.
great. Well, anyway, it's great to have you at the table.
Thank you.
Listeners, quick programming announcement before we get into it. It has been a busy summer. We've cranked out, I think, at least 3 to 4 reviews a month, which is, we always aim for 2 a month. So it's been good. It's been fun. But we are going to take a short hiatus this fall month for a couple of reasons. One, Laron, I'm sure I'll talk about later, is going to be kicking off fundraising for his next feature. I've got some personal stuff going on that we'll talk about it at a later date. But we are going to be back in a month. We're going to be reviewing Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another on Wednesday, October 1st. It's funny. We did a There Will Be Blood panel at Tower way back when I started that, and that dropped somewhere in the early RSS feed for this program. But I don't think we've ever done a proper Paul Thomas Anderson review because Licorice Pizza came up, but we didn't do like a deep dive. So I'm really looking forward to this one. It'll be a great way to kick off the fall sort of awards season. And we'll be back on Wednesday, October 1st with that review. With that said, let's talk summer 2025. Couple things we talked about earlier this year, Laron. I think in our preview for the year episode when we did with Dan Bokemper, we were really curious to see how this year, more specifically how the summer was going to shape up, because this is the first post-COVID, post-strike summer since 2019. So think about that for a second. So essentially, we were in COVID 2020. I would say, people are probably debating. Some people would probably argue we're still in COVID. Weirdly. But, let's say 2022.
I think we should debate if COVID was real, but go ahead.
No. It had real effects.
It had real effects.
I'll tell you that.
It was real in my psychology. That's for real.
Okay, got
it. And then 2022, the movies are back, kind of. We had the F9 review. I guess that was 2021. And then we get to 2023, which was supposed to be the big, we're back. That was when we had Barbenheimer, and it was great. But then all of a sudden, boom, 2 strikes, writer strike, actor strike, AI debates, all the stuff happened. And that meant in 2024, the studios were a lot more selective about which films they threw at audiences. They were a little more strategic because they didn't have the full might of the marketing machine of like the actors promoting the movies, for example. And that was a disruption in the production of films. So, there was a lot of breaks, a lot of gaps, so fewer films. So here we are in 2025. We are supposedly over the hump with the slowdowns due to strikes and COVID. And what does this tell us box office wise? Well, right now, box office numbers are up from 2024 a little bit, but still not at the height of Barbenheimer 2023, and still nowhere close to where we were in 2019. I'm trying to see if I can find some numbers here from Hollywood Reporter. But yeah, so we're trending last year at the same time. It was like 3.68. We're at 3.75. But if you look back for Billy in 2023, and if you go back to summer 2019, it was 4.35. Not going to spend too much time on the numbers, but needless to say, some would argue we have not fully recovered since the COVID. Laron Chapman, how do you feel about how this summer's gone?
I'm of two minds because I'm one of those people who I don't quantify the success of what's happening in the film world by how much money the movies are making, because some of the best movies I've ever seen made no money.
Right.
But I do understand from a business standpoint, like what's trending and what kind of content we're going to be getting. This definitely affects that. But I do think it's put a spotlight on maybe some auteurs and maybe some genre films that maybe otherwise wouldn't have gotten as much attention with the big tentpole films that we were getting. So I feel like it's been a really awesome summer for genre movies. I'll say that. I think we've seen a spike with the blockbusters, like not to the levels that it was before, but at least a healthy amount of people are going out to see some blockbuster films that did, probably better than we expected under the conditions that we have. But yeah, I mean, I think this isn't the smash hit of like you said, of the Barbenheimer kind of, level. But I do think that there are a solid maybe 7 to 8 films that I saw this year that I think are going to be pretty influential or impactful years later, in terms of things we're going to be talking about.
This summer or the year so far? So I should probably
True,
define summer.
yeah,
I should define summer specifically May until the end of August.
Damn, a lot changed from May to,
I know. Sinners is April, Laron.
So
That's the thing.
That's true.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. Omitting Sinners from this for people, then I would say, yeah. I mean, I won't say it's middling, but I'd say that again, if you're someone like me who lives and breathes genre movies, then there was a good swath of those this year. But as far as summer block, overall summer block was probably middle of the road.
Yeah.
Not flailing like in the dumpster, but like somewhere right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Jason, what's your take on the summer so far?
I thought summer was pretty good. I wouldn't say that it was a killer summer, but I would say that there was enough things out that I could recommend. I'm sure this happens to you guys. Almost everybody I run into, hey, what's playing? What's out? Yeah. What should I go see? Yep. And for whatever reason, even though I've seen almost everything, I draw a complete blank and I go, I don't know. What should I, hold on, let me look and see what's out. This summer, I was pretty automatic, or it would be like, I don't want to ruin anything we want to talk about later on, but like, go see F1 while it's in IMAX.
Yeah.
You got to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
Where Sinners bled into May. So everyone I talked to, it would be like, you've seen Sinners, right? Yep. Okay, you got to see Sinners. Don't wait for it to come on Max.
Yeah.
You got to go see it. So I know I just gave just a couple of examples, but there was plenty to where I felt like, you know what, Naked Gun's funny. You should see it. Go see, make sure it's a crowd. Go see it. Where there are plenty of times where I'm going, oh man, I can't think of one thing. Or I mentioned something that no one's heard of. And they're going, well, I'm not going to go. I don't even know what that is. I'm not going to see it. Yeah. But this summer, there were things where it was like name brand, it, Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Plenty of like top tier popcorn films, like things to go to the movies, spend 2 hours, maybe didn't change your life, but were a worthy use of 2 hours,
I mean, that's kind of how I felt too. I put down here, we were talking baseball earlier, but a lot of doubles and triples. I don't know if there were any home runs where you're just like, life-changing summer blockbuster event, must see. But there was a lot of stuff though that I was like, F1's a great example. I wasn't even expecting to like that movie, and I was like, oh, amazing. The IMAX stuff, I saw things I never saw before. Superman was actually good. We got solid auteur fare with 28 Years Later. It was a lot of movies that I really, really liked. I don't think there was anything that was like blew my socks off to where I'm like, wow. Sorry, Edington didn't do it for me. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But I just had like an epiphany of like, wow, this is a movie that's really, like Sinners, we were just like, this just blew my mind. Nothing quite to that level, but there was consistently things to recommend to people.
Yep.
I'd say, Jason, lots of crowd pleasers.
There was no blue whale. There's no.
Speaking of which, Avatar, don't forget, that's coming out.
That's coming out this Christmas.
The blue whale's coming in December.
We can talk to it.
We can talk about Avatar a little bit.
To talk to the whale.
I would say
Literally.
so. I mean, I do want to not dig in, but like in terms of trends, I'm going to throw this out here. And I'm just curious if you guys had any observations on your side. So, and I'm saying like just trends I noticed that could be whether it's actually the trends within the movies you're watching, the theatrical experience, audio, the going and seeing with people, or even like studio strategy in terms of like how they're releasing and marketing stuff. I feel pretty confident. Laron, I've been saying this all year round, and I still think we were correct that the Fantastic Four and Superman were very clear delineate. Like it was a real pulse check on where superhero movies are, which is to say, they got to be good.
They had to be.
They have to be really good to get people to come out. I think we are definitely past the point where people just show up because it's a superhero they recognize.
Right.
I mean, this has been a thing. James Gunn, of course, obviously promoting Superman, but he'd be like, no. He's like, people. His argument is that people aren't superhero fatigued; they're mediocre movie fatigued, and we've taken for granted that people just show up for these all the time. And I think both of those movies were pretty solid. I like Superman a lot more than Fantastic Four, but Fantastic Four dropped off pretty massively. So I think the days of superhero overload are over. I don't necessarily know what comes next.
Yeah. I think they'll always be here, but I don't know if the craze around that is gonna sustain
the appetite.
Forward.
The appetite. It just needs to be a good movie. I mean, like Superman was also a huge like word of mouth success, but it was because it was a good movie.
Like they'll all do well. They just won't. They probably won't be the North Star.
Well, but they also have to be. My point is like if it's a bad superhero movie, I just don't think people are gonna turn out for it.
Absolutely.
That was when I noticed though. Just like this is the summer where we finally can say clearly, superheroes as like the North Star, the money
of the industry.
Money horse they're all chasing is over. So I'm curious, Jason, anything like stick out to you when you think about the summer?
Yeah, two trends to me that I'm going to build off of what you just said. The first one is that for those movies you're talking about, I went to see Superman. IMAX was relatively sold out. There were 4 of us. I couldn't find 4 seats together that I was willing to sit in that row for. Dolby, as you and Caleb don't give our secrets away, but Dolby we love.
I need to know these seat numbers after we.
We'll help you out.
Off the air.
But it was. Let me just put it this way: it was not an option. Okay. So I went to just a regular theater, and nice big house, but there just weren't many people in it. And this was still the Thursday. We do the Thursday night before it comes out, right? Yep. And I told you this off air, but liked, didn't love Superman. These young guys were sitting behind me, and when we got up, one of them looked at the other one and said, "It's Dolby or nothing." And he's absolutely right. Yep. The trend for me is that with these big movies, Fantastic Four, Jurassic Park, pretty much, these big IP movies, you got to see it in IMAX or Dolby, or just don't see it because you're just not going to get the full experience. Now, unfortunately, that really means you have to go opening weekend because they're just not as full the following weekends, unfortunately. But that to me is a trend that it is now. It's an event, and you have to see it under the right circumstances. And I would put even like a Naked Gun. You don't have to see that in IMAX, but go to a theater that's got a lot of people in it. Yeah. Weapons, I would argue, you really don't have to see that in IMAX. In fact, I don't even think it was shot for IMAX. But I saw it in IMAX with a packed house. Yeah. Made the experience so much better.
I agree.
100%, yeah.
And there's plenty of movies on this list that you could see without a crowd and be perfectly fine. But for something like that, you got to see it in an IMAX Dolby with a crowd. Other trend to me to build off, again, your Fantastic Four Superman argument is, I think now more than ever, now I don't have the Hollywood Reporter numbers in front of me, but now more than ever, I think the auteur director is the reason to go see a movie. Yeah. Sinners was awesome, but I mean, Coogler's people were like Coogler's making a movie. I got to go see this. I know Michael B. Jordan, I get it, but I don't know that he's necessarily somebody that gets people to go see a movie. He probably is now.
Well, especially if you combo Michael B. Jordan with Ryan
Coogler, which basically, if you're seeing Ryan Coogler, you're going to get Michael B. Jordan. Right. But Coogler's a reason to go see the movie. Weapons, Kreger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
People, all you had to do was say, this guy made Barbarian, and people went, gotta see it.
Yep.
And so I think now more than ever that I can remember where it's like, that guy's making a movie, that girl's making a movie. Even we could probably argue Celine's song with, under normal circumstances, I don't know too many people that were that excited to go see Materialists, but Celine's song has a name. And so people went to go see it, and then they kind of sold it as a rom-com, blah, blah, blah. But I really do feel like that's a big thing now. And that's why I'm actually disappointed. This is a whole nother conversation. Denis Villeneuve is like, he's a guy.
Yeah.
And the last movies he's made, he's done a Blade Runner movie, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
He's done Dune, which part 2 was great. I didn't like part 1. Now he's doing James Bond. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But I want him to make something new. I want him to make something original. And I hate these guys getting into this IP. And I understand why they do it, but I want new stuff. And these guys can do it, and they can make money off of it.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do it, now's the time.
And Denny's definitely, obviously, started out that way. He started off as an auteur, and now he
went into studio filmmaking. And I really hope after this Bond movie, he doesn't do another Bond movie. I'm with you. Because I'm like, at this point, you've earned the cred, my dude. You're not, maybe not quite Chris Nolan, but you've got the same stuff he had when he made The Dark Knight.
No one cares about the atomic bomb. None of us were sitting around going, oh, I wish I knew more about how the atomic bomb. Nobody cared about that. It was because Christopher Nolan's name was on it.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was a great trailer. And organically, I hate that people keep trying to make Barbenheimer. It was organic. I don't want to hear, it was the marketing. It wasn't. It was totally organic.
It was organic. You can't manufacture that. But you're right. But even both of those. Well, I guess Christopher Nolan's a pretty big name. But
Greta Gerwig,
she is now.
But she definitely is now. But even before that, she had a diehard fan base who got where was able to amp up
which
opening
is
weekend.
Why I wish she wasn't doing
a Narnia movie.
movie. I'm sure it's going to be great.
It's such a bizarre choice.
I want Greta Gerwig to make movies because she's so good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want more Greta Gerwig movies. And at this point now, I'm not saying to make $1 billion, but at this point now, if Greta Gerwig's making a movie and it's a coming of age, or it's about this, or it's about that, people are going to go see it.
Absolutely.
But I think you're right. I think to his point, that seems to be an exciting trend that I hadn't considered, is that, people are basically starting to cool on the larger IP, and they're eager to see something fresh, something new, something that they haven't seen before, and they want to walk in blind to it, the way that we did with Sinners, the way that we did with even Weapons. So there's a degree of that, anything except the same, I don't want to say milk toast thing that we've been getting for so long now. So
no, I think it's a very valid note. That people actually show up for the directors working on a specific thing. Even much smaller scale, but Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are reteaming for another 28 years. You know what I mean? It's like a formula for this person working on this thing. And that movie made pretty good money for what it is, Yeah. Laron, any trends you noticed?
Obviously outside of what we've just mentioned, there obviously with every year there's an influx of reboots, remakes, and legacy sequels. There definitely still was a trend of that, but what I'll say is that they were actually good this summer,
right?
And that's the surprise here. At least most of them were good this summer.
The Smurfs was amazing. I heard that's what I heard you say. It was
definitely the Smurfs. But we mentioned Naked Gun.
Naked Gun's a great example.
Great example. Perfect. That's a perfect light, breezy,
not a remake, enough winks to the original,
absolutely,
right? But new jokes.
Exactly, works that well. Dad movies, F1, mom movies, Freakier Friday, they're just things that some of these are sequels, some of these are but these are better examples of that kind of movie than you normally get, where they're not egregious, they're not like they're capitalizing on what worked in those movies and still making solid sequels that actually build upon the original stuff.
So what I'm hearing from you, and this is all building off of what Jason said, is it's also diversity of options.
Yes.
Whereas it used to just be superhero, Ninja Turtles,
Exactly.
Transformers. Now it's we have options. Now none of those options are necessarily making the buku dollars that we would see from those other tent poles, but like it's doing solid business. Freaky Friday made some really good money. You know,
I think relative to their budgets, they're all doing okay, right?
Yeah. You mentioned 28 Years Later. Something else comes in mind. Final Destination: Bloodlines.
Yep.
Another
huge hit.
Huge hit. Late in the game.
No one expected that to take off.
Probably the 10th movie, but many accounts the best one that they've made.
Yeah, and not like a solid like this will definitely be good.
Right.
Right.
Right. It was a huge gamble.
It's a huge gamble. Yeah, absolutely. And it paid off. So that's an example like where did we need this? I didn't think we did. And now we're seeing, I'm like, actually, it's pretty good. Now I'm excited again to see what else they do with it.
Counterpoint. I know what you did last summer. We'll save it for later. Sorry, Laron. We're still friends, I hope, please.
For now. We're not.
But no, just joking. I mean, but I would say like there's an example though. There are a lot of the legacy sequels or follow up. Like there was a certain sort of like confidence and like an angle that we hadn't seen before if you're gonna do it. One other thing I would call it is I was so stoked. This is gonna sound terrible. I'm rooting for cinema, I promise. But I was like, I think along with superheroes being over the hill, I was like, I think we're finally over the hill for live action Disney remakes. And then wouldn't you know it, Stitch comes out and makes the only movie to cross $1 billion this year. And I'm like, well,
didn't know that.
I was dead wrong. We're getting more Lion Kings.
But that just might come back to what you're saying is that it still has to be good.
Yeah. People did like that movie.
It is. I mean, and it's so much better than Snow White.
You
know what I mean? Like Snow White's just an embarrassment.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it. Full disclosure. I was waiting. I'm a Disney Pluser for those, but I have heard. Yeah, you've frankly almost anyone I've talked about Lilo and Stitch has really liked the new one.
I'm not saying I really liked it, but no, I liked it. It was fun. I actually laughed quite a bit. My daughter was looking at me like, "What do you think's so funny?" Hey, Stitch, getting into it.
Yeah. So I guess like last thing I want to note here. Here's another. It's sort of a trend. Maybe I'm giving this away a little too early, but K-pop Demon Hunters. This is, in my opinion, this is one of the big movie stories of the summer. This movie came out in June. I didn't realize that. I swore it was July. I was like, it's only, but no, this has been all summer. It came out on Netflix in June and has been trending #1 on Netflix for like 2 months.
That's crazy.
And then as we're recording this, we're at the end of their like sing-along version playing in the theaters.
Now. Yeah. Yep.
I haven't even seen the box office numbers, but I'm sure 18
million.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Netflix just put movies in theaters.
Hello.
Yeah, money.
I know.
Money is good. But I don't know. Like it. I don't know if it's a combination of the music. I feel like it's serving an underserved audience, which is like teenage girls largely, probably.
I don't underestimate the power of K-pop. Like
Yes.
I know how big that is. Even if I have only know one K-pop song, then I still know that it's a huge entity out there. You know. So
Yeah, Jason, what do you make of I don't know, like it's kind of like how Barbie was a couple summers ago. We had every week. It's just it's still trending at the box office. This is like, how is this still #1 on Netflix? You know.
Well, in a way, I think that it is one of those where you're like, all right, what's popular? K-pop. Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay. What else? Kind of an anime style animation is kind of cool, right? Okay. All right. Keep going. I'm like, they fight. Demons. Yeah, okay. All right. Keep it going.
girl power.
What if? Okay, they're K-pop, but the music actually is pretty good.
Yeah.
And what if we could actually get it, like people to actually listen to it, and then they did it and they pulled it off.
Yeah.
You know, they found these ingredients that are kind of funny if you just really you go like, well, they're totally playing to an audience. And then it works. My daughter, she's 13. Well, I think at one point I said something like, "Have you watched this?" I thought it was a show.
No, everyone I talked to, like Lauren, when we sat down to watch it the night, my wife is like, oh wait, this is a movie? I was like, yeah, She thought it was a whole 10 episode thing. Yeah.
And I didn't know what it was. There's that other thing, Demon Slayer or something that's coming out later. I said, is this the same thing as that? No. So she watched it, and then they had their first dance last weekend. I picked her up. How was it? Boring. Oh, okay. But they played Soda Pop, and guess what got everybody going?
Wow.
And so she said, she kind of came up to me this over the weekend, and she goes, hey, I'm going to put on K-pop. And she goes, don't say anything to Mom. Just put it on. I said, okay, yeah, we'll just put it on. We'll just play it. And by the whole family sat down, watched it. It's fun. It's good. I mean, it's not my favorite movie this summer, but it's fun. It works. The music is catchy.
They capture what it is, what the appeal is of this kind of music. One, even if you don't listen to it, there's earworms in it. Obviously, several earworms. But they captured like the enthusiasm and the passion behind that, and it just kind of like, in a weird way, it satirizes it because it's definitely making like skewering the fans that love this sort of thing.
Right.
But it's clearly made by people who have a love and affection for it as well. And so it's just a fun encapsulation of it's like you thought they're roping everyone into it. The people who love it, the people who thought they would never love it. You know what I mean? Like, and I found that me as someone who doesn't listen to K-pop at all, doesn't appeal to me one bit. Found myself stepping my feet a little bit.
I was pleasantly surprised. I won't give it away, but I was like the first 20 minutes. I was like, all right, this is cool. I'm
that opening action scene on the plane is cool.
Super fun.
It's
and
good.
I'm leaning in. I'm like, this is pretty solid. And then there's a twist that happens. I was like, oh. We got
wait a minute.
There's something cooking here. I'm investing. There we go. I think you said it's really well done. It does feel like a bunch of disparate, seemingly unrelated things they like threw together in some like algorithm. Just like, what if we just made a good version of this?
Okay, real quick, not to derail this, but my friend floated this to me. Is this in contention for Oscar?
Yes.
Yep.
It has a limited release, so I looked this up immediately.
Well, I know technically it is, but I mean, do we think, is this going to get nominated?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it'll be nominated.
I mean, here's the thing: the animation's actually really damn good.
Yeah.
It looks unique. It's different than the Disney stuff.
I'll tell you what, too, for the broadcast, if they can get the Sinners, gosh, help me with the song. Anyways, the song, and they get one of the K-pop Demon Hunters song. I mean, that broadcast is going to be a banger. They can, because those performances would be incredible if they could really pull them off.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I think I definitely think it's in contention. I mean, it not only is it super popular and everyone's talking about, but that's the thing. It's actually it's a good movie.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have to look back at my list, but it's one of the best animated movies I've seen this year. I also want to call out too here. Really cool to see that this is Korean talent above and below the line and voice talent. So that's kind of cool. I don't feel like feel like you see that all the time. So anyway, very cool stuff. All right. Well, real quick, what's our favorite movie of the summer? Laron, Chapman.
If we're starting in May.
We're starting in May.
I
know Sinners Blood
I see you over there, Sinners. I ain't forgot about you. But yes, if we're starting with May, then I'd have to say it's kind of a two-way tie for me between 28 Years Later and Weapons. Those are the two that had the strongest chokehold, I would say, on me in terms of like, I saw these movies twice in theaters, when they were out, and they're definitely huge surprises for what they were,
Yeah, I mean, both of those could have been terrible.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the hype for Weapons could have been, disproportionate to how good the movie was.
Could have long legs didn't. You and I feel a little warmer about that movie than most people, but what people say about
how I feel about it.
Yes. Yeah,
that's what Long Legs should have been.
That's where I was.
That's what a lot of people said.
It was funny. I hadn't compared the two until we did the day we did the podcast, and someone asked me, "It's like what Long Legs was trying to do." I was like, "There's a lot of overlap here."
There is
in terms of what the goals, and I think Weapons actually lands the plane, so
Definitely.
that's good. Jason, what are your favorite films of the year?
Well, I could talk about Weapons for
summer.
20 minutes. And maybe we should. But I'd go with F1 just as far as like the theater experience, the type of movie that I like. It's you have me on pretty much when things like that come out.
Yeah.
The vroom vroom.
I love the vroom vroom, especially when I can feel it in my seat.
Oh man, in the IMAX, absolutely. I saw it. I thought full IMAX. I skipped the Dolby for that one.
Okay.
And did the IMAX, and it was.
I did
worthwhile
Dolby.
trade. Yeah.
I love Brad Pitt. I don't care. I'm
Still
into
a
it.
movie star.
I love him. It's a little too long, but I thought it was not the best movie of the year. Don't worry.
Okay.
But I did think it was the most fun I had over the summer.
I think in terms of like pure visceral like thrills, it was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
If I'm going purely off of like visceral thrills, and I also again I didn't think it was gonna be bad. I mean, we've seen that director do a lot of very good movie. I mean, Top Gun Maverick. But I was not expecting to really love the experience, and I was like, man, that was so much freaking fun. Yeah, it could have been about 20 minutes shorter.
Please.
I knew nothing about F1.
I don't either.
I didn't realize it was a team sport, for example. And I walked out and I was like, hey, wait, they didn't just make a dumb car movie. They actually like help you learn about the sport, and they're showing how scientific it is. It's like, wait, smart people actually made this movie, and they want you to be more knowledgeable. So anyway, I thought that was a great one. 28 years later was my number one. And I gotta give a shout out to Superman. I mean, I've already talked about it on the pod a lot, but listen, I'm a Superman fan who has sat through a lot of bad Superman movies, or movies that are good, not bad movies, that are just bad Superman stories, Man of Steel, and to see the characterization get done right, across the board with all your main characters, and just to get the ethos of like why this character is still relevant, all of that really landed for me. So I'd lean on favorite. I loved it, but I mean, feels like a lame answer. Also, I just got to throw out there, cinema, not cinema, Andor season 2, technically TV, Star Wars. Go see it; it's amazing, but it's a TV show, so we'll delegate that for later. But it's got a lot of cinematic qualities.
I was gonna say very cinematic.
What is the worst movie you saw, or perhaps you could say most disappointing film of the summer? Jason, I'll throw this one to you first.
Oh well, I was prepared for worst. I don't know how disappointing. I had no expectations for Smurfs, and it was terrible. I think that the marketing for it's so obvious that Rihanna had in her contract that no matter what happened, you had to say literally Rihanna is Smurfette. It's in the trailer. It's on the posters. It's on the cardboard cutout. It's in the movie. I mean, she must have just said like, okay, one condition plus, I don't know, $20 million or something like that. But she has a song in it that's very forgettable. The movie overall, terrible. I hated every minute of it. I really did. There was nothing about it that I enjoyed.
Yikes. I mean, that's a pretty low bar, too, because you knew what you were getting into. Those other
No, I expected it to be terrible.
And it was somehow worse. Yikes. Well, Laron, I don't know. Did you see Smurfs?
I avoided Smurfs.
Not even for Rihanna?
That's the thing is I adore Rihanna, and she's been teasing an album for 15 years now.
This was it,
and we're never getting it. She's given us that throwaway track in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and now this.
Well, that was a hit.
Yeah,
that was a hit.
It was even nominated for an Oscar, but when you listen to the song, I'm like, she's saying one line on loop.
It's kind of boring.
I'm just like, it
was a hit.
One line on loop. It's a ballad. I'm just like, give me an album. You were like, you had the 2000s. You were like everywhere. Like she was featured on everything. She's over music now. She's a billionaire. She's a lingerie mogul. Like all these different things. She doesn't need music, but anyway, that's a whole nother thing too. But no, for me, I feel like I'll go with the most disappointing. I didn't see anything I hated this summer. I mean, the worst thing on my list is just middling. Yeah. But for me, the most disappointing for me was actually Mission Impossible.
Oh,
Final Reckoning.
I also had
I just feel like it. I mean, coming off really such a high of the last couple.
Yeah.
For that to be the capper. Yeah. There are two, as we mentioned on our extended podcast. Check it out later. There are two incredible, maybe top tier,
like best action sequences ever made
of the whole franchise, but it's a bloated mess that the pacing's off. It just feels sloppy in a way that I was hoping it wouldn't. It took all of the bad qualities of the previous movies that I felt like they had gotten past with some of the best entries. And it's all in there. It's this gumbo of things, a combination of good things, but it's just overall for me kind of a letdown. So that for me was the most disappointing this summer.
Yeah, I threw that was also I wanted to put a footnote there because I mean I watched all of them. I bought the 4Ks, like a box set after part 1 came out.
I'll still be buying it just to. I'm a completist.
No, I will too.
But-
don't worry. But I'm just. I was with my wife and I for like 2 months. We're watching all 8. We were ready. And listen, I knew that the expectations were unreal, and I knew that Dead Reckoning Part 1, now just Dead Reckoning, was not as good as Fallout. But I was still optimistic.
Still good. I like it.
Yeah, it's still good.
No, I think. By the way, I still don't think there's a bad Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
It's mostly that this one had. I was hoping this would land closer to Fallout or Rogue Nation or Ghost Protocol, and it lands a lot closer to the bottom for me. There was just too much exposition. It had a lot of. It also followed a lot of my pet peeves. Like, hey, we just showed you a thing, and like 2 minutes later, we're gonna show that. Cut back to that thing again. Then it felt like a clip show for the first hour. I'm like, what are we doing? You don't do that. They have not done this in the previous movies. Why are we doing this now?
They were sophisticated enough. They didn't need to. Like, you can reference something without showing me the clip from Mission Impossible.
What was that?
Remember that knife that he had in the first one?
Yeah.
Remember that line that he had in the second? It's just like, we get it. This is the last movie.
I did like the callback to what was his name from the first movie.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
See, that's a clever one.
Yeah.
You bring a character back, but in terms of
Well, what was it? There was a piece of, I can't remember what it was anymore, but there was a thing.
rabbit foot or something.
No. Well, actually, yeah, the rabbit's foot did come.
Well, we
back.
got an explanation of what it is.
Yeah, because we've
been wondering.
I've been wondering for decades. But that said, it really does have 2 all-time banger sequences, and I do think at the end of the day, it's still a fun time. It's just you're so hyped, and then you sit down for a 2-hour and 50-minute movie, and
it's
the first
also too long, and you feel it this time.
And the first hour is
kind of a slog.
Before
we get things going.
Hey, one quick thing about Smurfs I want to say. I'm sorry, I meant to say this.
Throw it out there.
It's directed by Chris Miller. And so,
what?
Okay. So I'm glad that you reacted that way, because when I saw the trailer, I looked at my son. I was like, okay, that looks terrible, but we're going to see it because Chris Miller. On the way there, I'm like, hey, look up Lord and Miller, because he's like, I go, look up Lord and Miller. He's like, this. And I said, yeah. See? And we looked up. No, that's Christopher Miller.
Oh.
Chris Miller did Shrek 3, and so that was where I was like, oh,
different
shoot,
Chris.
It's a different guy.
They knew what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's dirty.
Clever.
Yikes.
Clever, deceptive.
Sorry, Laron. I won't. We're gonna stay friends. But actual worst thing I saw was I Know What You Did Last Summer. But it's like, but that wasn't offensively bad.
No, I get it.
But it was. I looked at I was like, no, that's definitely the worst thing I saw.
Yeah. The star rating definitely was the lowest.
Well, okay. So that's just our overall thoughts on the summer, and I want to give some airtime to a lot of the movies we haven't seen. I think I've got something like 26 movies. Which, by the way, that's a lot of movies that we didn't see. So what we're going to do is I want every host to pick one, and then we're going to do a random pick, okay? So we all pick a movie. We all talk about it for 2-3 minutes, and then pass it along. And then when we get to the 4th round, we will do a randomized pick. I'll try to take off what we pick. And listeners can't see this, but we have a magic spinning wheel here that I will spin whenever we.
Ooh, that's fun.
You like it?
Fun.
Yeah.
What do I win?
You win highest to lowest. Oh, wait. Nope. Honey, don't. JK. Yeah.
Love it.
So, yeah. So, anyway, that is what we'll be doing here, folks. So, with that said, Jason Black, as our guest this week, what is a film from summer 2025 you want to chat about a little more here?
So we've mentioned Naked Gun a couple of times, but I want to throw it out just for a couple of additional thoughts. One being, it does sort of, IP aside, but I think Akiva Schaffer has maybe sort of that, not quite a tour, but it's like, he's a Lonely Island guy. That means it'll probably be funny. Let's go see it. So it's got that, so that we talked about earlier. But one thing that really stood out to me about Naked Gun is that it is a written comedy. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the Judd Apatow movies. I like improv. I like that kind of stuff. I think it's funny. I think that in the end, the movies don't completely add up because there's too much ad-libbing in it. But that movie, you can't break from the script or it doesn't work because those jokes are so written.
Yeah.
And they're so specifically spelled out that this means this with this with it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you can't ad-lib it. So I think I want to give it some credit for that because we're just not seeing that type of a comedy.
Right.
And I think because of the success, I know it wasn't a massive hit.
It made money, though.
But it made money. And I think because of that, I think that it will hopefully do what we were talking about earlier and will contribute to somewhat of a trend of like, let's get back to some more written comedies. I still like those others. I'm not saying don't do those, but that's more of what that type of movie was.
Right.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm a big fan of Naked Gun. I saw this, so fun short version. I do partake in the celebration of professional wrestling at events, and it was SummerSlam weekend that weekend. And Cody Rhodes, who is the biggest wrestler in the world right now, also plays the bartender in the movie. And so, and a lot of us are hoping that he transitions into a movie acting career. So we were like, oh, look, it's Naked Gun, which I wanted to see anyway. Didn't even realize he was in the movie until like a week before. And I said, hey, guys, let's go see Naked Gun together in the theater because Cody Rhodes is there. We'll have a Cody weekend. And it was a great time. We were all laughing our asses off. And I just like the commitment to the jokes and the setups and payoffs and that are magnificent. Mm-hmm. There's like there's I mean, I don't want to give away the jokes, but there's a TiVo joke that I was like,
yes,
this is for such a specific type of person that happens to be me.
Yes.
And I get it. And they go for so long and so hard. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
And there was also there's a joke about a name where someone uses a fake name, and it's like they committed to it halfway through the movie, and every time that she's under the disguise, they have to call her that name, and the name is just so silly and stupid, but every time it comes in, I lost it.
And something that stood out to me is like I've been enjoying the Pamela Anderson resurgence.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like loved you and I, you know, a little lukewarm on the last Showgirl, but loved her performance.
Oh, she was incredible
in the movie.
in that,
and then it's actually really nice. I think I actually prefer her in this because I think she's more of a, you know, she's a femme fatale and she understands slapstick comedy, you know, like, so I feel like that's really where her strength is more than maybe dramatic acting. But I feel like, yes, like every scene she's in, I was like, she's nailing the timing here. And that was a surprising thing coming from maybe someone who's maybe not a skilled actress, you know, in general, she's done more, you know, like, but it's kind of like maybe like what Rose McGowan was doing in like Grindhouse or like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like there's certain actresses that are just tailor made for this kind of material.
I think this is what she wanted to be.
Yeah.
If you watch the FX show, one of the plots is that that's what she was going for, to be that type of an actress. And she never was really given the chance. I mean, if we're to believe anything there, she was never really given the chance. And now here she is, and she's great. And she's fun and sweet and wholesome and
charming, and the fact that her and
Liam Neeson are apparently dating. It's amazing.
It's just such a sweet story. He's probably like, man, I'm dating Pamela Anderson. Remember her from all the she was on all of y'all's walls.
Hey, there's rumors. Hey, there's rumors.
Well, okay. Well,
he may be doing her a favor too.
Well, there you go.
The cabin getaway sequence in that movie was incredible. Again, just commitment to the bit. But I, to your point though, Jason, we don't get comedies like this anymore. I mean, frankly, comedies in theaters in general, even the Judd Apatow flavor, are few and far between. So to get this, it feels like a throwback to like the 80s, 90s, early aughts, where we're getting tons of these things. So it budget of $42 million. Currently, it's sitting about $78 million. It's still in its theatrical run. So
I think they got to be happy with that.
Yeah, maybe I should have mentioned this in the trend section. I'm kind of wondering if you know, we're in a spot with the theatrical going experience where we're less obsessed with chasing actual blockbusters. I mean, probably not, but you know what I mean. Like, you can make, for the price of one MCU movie, you could make 4 Naked Guns, and those 4 Naked Guns, if 3 of those make money versus you have one Marvel flop, it just, I'm wondering if
it's the Blumhouse model,
right? Yeah, and it's working for Blumhouse pretty well, unless you're talking about
mid-budget, big reward payoff, you know.
Unless you're talking about Megan 2.0, which we might.
Well,
any other thoughts on Naked Gun?
Go see it. It's fun. It's a nice, breezy 85 minutes.
It's not perfect, but it's good.
It's a good time.
Funny.
Yeah. Laron Chapman, what is a movie you want to pick?
I'm going to go the indie route here. One of the best movies I saw this year that I think that I've converted 5 people to, at least so far.
I think I know which one it is.
You do. It's called Sorry Baby. Yeah. This was one I recommended to 5 people, and those 5 people texted me after they watched it and told me, thank you for recommending this movie. So I'm going to keep doing that for everyone that will listen to me say it. But this was like directed by a former, I mean, I guess she's still a comedian, now turned writer-director. Her name's Ava Victor. And this is a story about a very, very, very uncomfortable subject told in a very humane and comedic way, and I'll just go ahead and say it's not really a surprise. We're dealing with sexual assault. This is something that the story is talking about, and it's told in a non-linear fashion, not unlike Weapons in that sense. And each time we get a new chapter from a different perspective of a different character, all of these things told out of sequence, put together a puzzle that hits an emotional wallop when you get to the
Does it
end.
have like a different genre, but like was it Don't Worry, Darling? Is it like that sort of
that
non-linear?
sense, in the sense
like
that
into the plot structure?
Yes, exactly. As you're not starting with piece 1, you're starting maybe with piece 3. And you're like, why did they start here? Why are we in the middle of a sentence in the middle of these people's lives? But then when we come back and we see that scene again in context to something else that we learned later on, that scene makes a lot more sense. And it just ends on such a poignant, powerful note. And I think that for a movie dealing with a very delicate subject matter, this could have been grim, this could have been bleak, could have been, and it weirdly is one of the funniest movies I saw this summer because she has such a sardonic sense of humor in writing, dialogue, and it just feels like that's who she is, or and so in a way it's such a good testament, especially if you watch any interviews with her, that the way she deals with pain is through humor. And I found that this, I think, will be very healing for a lot of people who relate to this content, but also it's an empathetic look at a very uncomfortable subject that I think a lot of people should check it out.
That is Sorry Baby. I guess I should see if this is this actually, I'm going to see if this is actually still in theaters or if it you can rent it on video on demand, $10 on YouTube apparently. So yeah, it's out there, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. Laron has been spreading the good word about this. It is before we get to our awards vote, it is absolutely a must see for me. So I'm very excited about that. All right, I got 2. I'm gonna save Edington though, in case but it's gotta be talked about on the show.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Life of Chuck. Now this is a movie that came out in June, Friday the 13th, and it took me a couple weeks to get caught up with it. It was a very busy time of the summer, but this was I was on the line about Life of Chuck, and I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but this is a movie. Similarly, you're looking at a non-linear story, and they do tell you that in the structure. And it's Tom Hiddleston, it's Mark Hamill, really great cast. But it's sort of like exploring life. It sounds so generic when you try to describe it. Life and what it means and what it contains, and like what is it to live a life. When we lose someone, what is lost, what fuels happiness, one of those moments. It all sounds very vague. But I initially, Ron, you and I talked about this, not on the show, but it does teeter on being very overly sentimental. It's real close, but I think and initially when I saw it, I was like, yeah, it's wearing some emotions on its sleeve. But I think there's moments from that have really stuck with me all summer long. And the closing moment sticks out, and I really want to watch it again because
and Mark Hamill is fantastic.
He is
role.
fantastic. It's the best I've seen him in a long time, honestly. But it's a movie no one talked about. Like we talked about it, but like I think it was in theaters for like 3 weeks, and then it's come and gone. It won the Toronto International Film Festival Audience Award last year. So anyway, to Mike, I probably should have laid this out. This is Mike Flanagan joint. So those of you who are fans of Mike Flanagan from all his Netflix TV shows like Haunting of Hill House, Bly Manor. He also, this is an adaptation of a Stephen King short story. And, I don't know. I thought it's heartwarming. I also admittedly saw this at a very sensitive moment in our summer that I won't get into for personal reasons. But when you're just thinking about like life and death and the impact a life has, and what's lost when we lose someone, all those things really hit home for me emotionally, and they've really stuck with me. So again, it is teetering on Hallmark sentimental, no doubt about it, and that's going to turn a lot of people off, and that is valid. That said, I don't know. It's simmered in my brain. I liked it quite a lot, and I think people should go see it if they're curious at all, especially if you're a Mike Flanagan fan. What do you guys think? Jason, did you get around to it?
I haven't seen it. I want to, but I heard kind of middling. I heard people did like it. I heard people didn't like it. So I don't know if it's one of those that's polarizing.
I'm somewhere in between. I would definitely like to revisit it because I always feel that way. When I have a strong reaction to something, there's certain things in it that just didn't work for me, like from the jump, and I was not able to get past it as it went along. But as you said, in retrospect, there are certain moments and certain performances in particular that really resonated in some of the themes. But I that's the issue I have more than anything. The narration for me didn't work. It felt a little
it's a little on the nose.
And it's Nick Offerman, right?
Yeah,
if I believe. Yeah, and so his cadence works in certain ways. I just feel like for this kind of story, it's going kind of for like a Forrest Gumpian type of like the world is like everything is like, these little moments are so profound, and that it has that vibe to it. But it's not, as you mentioned, like with the way that it resonated with you personally, having gone through some losses recently. I see that the movie working in that way on a lot of people. You know what I mean? In terms of if you are dealing with these things specifically, it's definitely drilling into that, the experience of that, the nuances of that. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think it's a bad film. I think it's just not all the pieces there.
And I wouldn't say it's a perfect movie either. I'm not going to go to bad. It's not. I don't even know if I'm almost not going to make my top 5 or even top 10. But it was a movie that I'm like, this is a different type of movie you don't see. Yeah. And I think people should check it out. But I understand though. Yeah. It is.
And the Stephen King short story, I believe, right?
Right.
Adaptation. So this is more in the Green Mile.
Yeah.
Shawshank.
Which is kind of the Stephen King I prefer.
Right.
In cinematic, at least.
Yeah.
Well, Jason, when you get around to it, I'd love to hear what you think. It's been one, because just not a lot of people, when you ask them, have you seen this? Nope. And so it's hard to even get opinions on it from folks who no one saw it. But that, I believe, is out on video on demand right now. So check that out. Hopefully we get a little advanced FYC screener for that one. All right. So let's go to our first round. I guess I got to take Life of Chekhov here. Our first spin on the wheel. What we got? Big money. Hey. Oh. Listeners, we almost landed on the Smurfs. We are saved. I can't believe I'm saying this. We were saved by Happy Gilmore 2.
I'm not sure we were, but.
So this was actually going to be my other pick.
Okay. What did you think of it, Jason?
Well, okay. So in 1996, I was in high school. And we had drama tournaments. We would compete. It was fun. And we were cool. Don't worry about it. And then afterward, we'd always go see a movie. I saw Happy Gilmore. It was a transcendent experience. It changed. There's a point in my life. It's before Happy Gilmore and after Happy Gilmore. That's how I view my life.
I think it's a perfect comedy.
It's so great. The music's great. I love it. I've quoted it for years. When I heard about the second one coming out, I'm all in. Give it to me. I'm fine with it. I fired it up that opening weekend. The whole family watched it. I'm laughing. My 13-year-old daughter's laughing. And then I have to tell you, I was surprised when I opened up good old X, as it's called now, and was like, oh, wow. People hated this movie because I thought that it was funny. I'm sure I had some nostalgia with it. I can't really.
Sure, I know what you did last summer. I get it.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's kind of like my friend is back. It's maybe
that was my my letterbox was comparing it to a high school reunion where you're like, hey guys, we're all back together, isn't it great? And you're like, remember those jokes we used to tell each other? Oh, those were so funny. You're hitting all the beats, and it's like, is it actually as good or wholesome as it was when the first time?
I'm sure it's not,
but it's still heartwarming. That was how I felt about it. I don't think it's a good movie, but I had a great time watching it.
All the criticism I can't disagree with. There's too many cameos. I get it.
Way too long.
It's too long. The last golf sequence is strange, and I mean, I don't really understand why
the extreme golf thing.
Why they did it whatever. But I thought it was funny. I'm into it, but I know a lot of people are not.
Yeah, Laron, you've been quiet. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I didn't care for it, but I will say, but in the same way that maybe like Coming to America, for example, how that's kind of the vibe I got, where that's another perfect Eddie Murphy comedy that lives there.
What was the one that was last summer? He did another one. It was the
well, he did another Beverly Hills Cop, which was
Beverly Hills Cop. That was I also thought that was fun too.
That was pretty decent.
I thought it was good.
But yeah,
Coming to America, not good.
America.
Yeah. But
not great, but and suffers from some of the same things, like egregious cameos, egregious callbacks, So it's definitely that. And I will say, like, perhaps like depending on what the thing is, like that will work for certain people, more than others. Your mileage will vary on this, but you definitely have to like love the first movie. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's kind of this won't work for novices to just
You're
watch.
not going to discover Happy Gilmore because you watched Happy Gilmore.
No.
But
you might not watch Happy Gilmore if you watch this one.
But you know what's bizarre is they either think that, I think another pet peeve, and it's the same pet peeve I had about Mission Impossible. There was so many like, hey, there's this guy, remember that? And they cut back to the clip from the first movie.
Yeah.
And
we got it when we saw the guy.
I got it. And if you have to explain the joke, it doesn't work,
Yeah.
So, I had a great time with it though. I really did. It's not good.
It was amusing without being like good. I feel like, it was watchable.
Benny Safdie, you don't have to do this, man.
Yeah.
You're making movies. I guess
Was it Benny Safdie?
Yeah. It was the guy, his rival running the other golf.
But the Safdie brothers notoriously love Happy Gilmore, which they're big Sandler guys, but Happy Gilmore was the reason they wanted him to be in Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to reiterate, I think I'm with you, Lauren. Me and Lauren, the night before we watched 1, and I still think that is a perfect comedy. It's a bona fide classic, still slaps.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say the same thing about Billy Madison, but I like Billy Madison, but there's a lot of like
it's of a time.
Yeah. Whereas I think Happy Gilmore generally has held up a lot more. But yeah, solid. I would say if you love the first movie, you should check it out. You'll probably have fun. It's not. Again, I would never say it's good, but
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Was it good? I don't know, but I thought it was funny.
It was funny.
I laughed.
I did laugh too. Yeah. All right, that is our first round from the randomizer. We'll throw it back in reverse order this time. Laron, Chapman, what is another movie you want to highlight?
So we teased it earlier, but I'm going to bring up The Materialist by Celine Song because I do feel like this has also weirdly been somewhat polarizing for people who are, very enamored with Past Lives. Because I do think that Past Lives is probably a near perfect movie for her, and I think that basically Materials had a lot to live up to with that. But I feel like The Materialist was one of the best romantic comedies that we've gotten, in years, because that's a genre I definitely enjoy, but but it's definitely one that lives and breathes on the kind of formula of, there's certain beats that you're expecting to happen in the story. And what was refreshing about this, with it being someone who's a lot more sophisticated with the genre, was able to deepen the dynamic between this love triangle and make each person three-dimensional, where there isn't a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And normally there's a definitive dude that's like obviously the wrong choice for this character.
Right.
And then there's a definitive, like obviously the best choice. And the caught in betweenness of it. And here, all of them are equally flawed. All of them are equally balanced. All of them have equal weight. And so I felt like their dynamic was actually suspenseful because you genuinely don't know who is the best option for this person, because
only she can know.
Only she can know. And I think it really gets into the true, honest nature of what in relationships, the things that people in their 30s say, coming towards their 40s, like how the compromises change. When you're in your 20s, you kind of just throw yourself into stuff. When you're in 30s, you're kind of established and starting to make concrete decisions about what has longevity, what's the best option for me long term. And I feel like it just captured all of that so well in a way that I found very relatable as someone who's 35 now and married. About why I settled down, why did I get married, why did I say yes to this person and not the 5 people who asked me before, and it resonated with me deeply as a millennial. And I think Celine Song is just a really great with dialogue and characterization. So I was a huge fan of it. Some people were a little cool on it, but generally speaking, it was well received. But
yeah, by the way, this is the one that got away from me all summer. I did not get to see it. I really wanted to. Yeah. So I will see it before the year's over. And frankly, I'm just waiting for it to not be $20 VOD.
To rent, yeah.
Because the second it's not, I'm gonna rent it for a movie night. It's I love. Having not seen this movie, I am excited to see her bring that sort of like natural, like true to life, sort of writing and self-reflection that we saw in past lives and apply it to a scenario like this.
Yeah.
I like you highlighting the good guy, bad guy thing. She did a similar thing in past lives where she's like, there was that joke about how, I'm the abusive bad husband that's going to tell you not to talk to this, very self-aware and just true to life, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Jason, did you catch up with Materialist?
I haven't, but I've tried to avoid the conversation. Laron did a great job. I was so worried. I was like, oh no, Laron's going to ruin it for me. He's going to say something, but you didn't. You did a great job. Because I've really tried to avoid the conversation because I've heard that it's like, get ready. You're either going to hate it or you're going to love it.
Yeah.
So I am anxious to see it. And I'm like you, I'm just kind of waiting. I didn't avoid it on purpose as far as not seeing it. It just didn't. It was one of those. It just didn't land for me yet. So
June was a busy month. So that was came out the weekend of the Dead Center Film Festival.
I somehow caught it during all that.
But I mean, it was like, but even then, somehow. I don't know how, Laron. It's your magic trick. You find time.
Yeah.
But
you find things for the things you love.
But it was like there was so much stuff that had come out the weekend before and the weekend after. It was like one of those, and I kept being like, I thought for sure it was gonna be a date night, but there was so much other stuff that we wanted to see. It just kept being like this or that, and we just never got to it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I will. I am very.
It'll
excited.
play nice at home.
Yeah.
It really will.
I'm excited.
It's not. You don't have to go to theater for that one. Sorry, Celine.
Well, Jason Black, what is another film you'd like to pick?
okay, so I'm gonna do something that's not on the list. I think that's okay, right?
Yeah,
okay. So I'm with you. I don't really understand the Disney live action remakes. I understand the economics behind it. I don't really understand the necessity for them unless you're going to do something different. I don't need a shot for shot of the original movie. So I was a little hesitant when How to Train Your Dragon was going to do a live action. But then I saw the trailer and I went, oh, there's something about this story that I just love. And it's got a little bit of new stuff to it. I'd say it's probably a lot of shot for shot. But I think the score is amazing. I think the story is amazing. I really just enjoy this movie. And I really liked the live action remake to the point where I went, I hope they do number 2 and number 3, which I think they've greenlit too.
Yeah. Hopefully they can make 2 better because that's the weak link in the trilogy.
You think so?
I thought so.
Yeah. And it's been a while. I watched these when my kids were young a million times, and then you kind of forget. But I overall thought that it was a worthy remake and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a great call out. I also really enjoyed that. It did like a little bonus drop in there, which is why it's not on the list. But no, that was we didn't talk about it on the main show. It was a fun time. I had very modest expectations because I love that first movie so much.
Yes.
That was the first because I like Shrek. I get it's a millennial classic, all that stuff, and But How to Train Your Dragon was the first like DreamWorks 3D movie that came out. I said they've got some. This has got the stuff that Pixar just got built in the DNA. They pulled it off in this movie.
That heart and pathos.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I love all 3 of them, but specifically the first one and the third one. But that first one is like an all timer for all the reasons you mentioned. And them doing a live action, I was like, man, this is not.
Do we need it?
Do we need it? And,
maybe we don't.
And I don't know that we do. But here's the way I keep rationalizing it. If this gets more people to go back and watch the animated film, which I think is vastly superior, then great.
Yeah.
If it's keeping this franchise afloat, great, because I want more How to Train Your Dragon stuff. I would love for them to take bigger creative risks, and this movie does not do that.
Not really, no.
But it did kind of help give me those moments, specifically the any of the sequences with the dragon flights, the first time they fly. It's just chef's kiss. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
And I also enjoyed taking my niece to see that.
Yeah.
So that was a fun time. Laron, did you get around to that one?
I did. And I actually had the privilege of working with Mason Thames on a movie that he shot here.
Oh, yeah,
in
that's right.
Oklahoma,
That's right.
New Year's Rev, which actually is having, I guess, a TIFF world premiere.
Hello.
So I'm like, hey, come on, Oklahoma. Which that kid's really busy because he's got the Black Phone 2 coming out.
And I heard nice thing. He's a nice kid, right?
Yeah,
I heard
very
good things
nice,
about it.
sweet kid, and really charming. And also, he has a romantic comedy coming out called "Regretting You" or something or whatever like that, which also stars McKenna Grace, who's going to be in Scream 7. I know that for the reasons that are obvious. And of course, when she was at the
because you love McKenna Grace.
That's definitely because I love McKenna Grace. But what's funny is she was at the in the craft service section when I was working on that movie here, and I was like, "You're in Scream 7, right? What can you tell me?" She's like, "I can tell you absolutely nothing." And I was like,
Laron
okay.
fishing for
I'm fishing.
going hard for the details.
But she was like, I was like, so how many days did you shoot? She was like, not many. I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. See what's going on here. But anyway, you never know. But that being said, I feel like
Got my attention, Laron.
you got yeah. She's like, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. It's not what you think it is, and she's like, and the marketing is deceptive. And I was like, okay, all right, that's all I need to know. But anyway, that's a Scream tangent. I felt like as live action movies go, this was one of the better options. You know, like I feel like the Lion Kings have not worked for me at all. But really, the first Cinderella worked for me, and then everything.
I like that one too.
Everything else,
Beauty and the Beast was okay.
It was okay. It was okay. Yeah, it was okay. I think I
didn't love it, but I thought I liked it more than a lot of the other ones.
I actually did too, but I feel like pretty much. Basically, it's been middling. It's these things. I don't think we've needed any of them really, but this one was not egregious. This one actually still had the heart that I appreciated from the animated film, without being better than the animated film.
No, it's not.
You know, but I don't think they really can be.
No, I mean you're doing it's just the whole thing that I've been saying with these things on my soapbox for a decade and a half now. Listen. There's just certain things that work really well in animation, whether that's 2D animation and 3D animation, that just does not translate the same way in live action. Just the way there's certain things you can do in live action that doesn't translate to animation. So you lose a little bit there, but overall the source material is strong enough. I think it still made for a good time at the movies. Oh, gosh. All right, Laron, I'll do it. Because I want to make sure we talk about Edington. Okay. We got to talk. Jason, have you seen Edington?
I hate Ari Aster.
Oh no.
Okay.
Then you'll hate this movie.
So you absolutely hate this movie.
So I'm just not going to see it. Okay. I mean, I might watch it for awards consideration, and I know everyone loves to hear us talk about that. But yes. I hated Hereditary. After Midsommar, I went, what am I supposed to do with this? Yeah. And so I just said, you know what? I've made up my mind. It's for other people, and that's fine. It ain't for me.
That's fair. Fair enough. That's fair. Yeah. You definitely will hate this movie. Yeah. Although, if for awards consideration, Joaquin Phoenix is pretty good, and I don't even like the movie. Okay, so Laron, so this movie comes out, and it was very divisive. So this is like an Ari Aster who we've done. You mentioned Hereditary, Midsommar. We also had Beau is Afraid.
Never saw it.
That's a 3 hour long. You would really hate that one. I will tell you that. In general, Laron, how you feeling? We're both generally pro Ari Aster. I mean, I loved Hereditary.
Yeah, Hereditary is one of my favorite horror films of the last.
I admire Midsommar more than I like it, but I really appreciate it. Okay. I think it's a very, very good, interesting film that I probably won't watch very often. And I felt the same way about Beau is Afraid, where I'm like, this is doing some really cool stuff. Love what it's going for. Just doing things I've never seen before. Sure. Taking bold swings, but I'm also like, I'm not going to just throw this on. You know, I'm not going to be I can't see myself being like, oh yeah. Beau is Afraid. Sounds great. You know,
you at least liked Toni Collette.
Of course.
Okay.
Laron, we used to be friends.
I actually think Toni Collette's the most underrated actress in Hollywood.
I agree with that. Yeah. She should have 5 Oscars by now. But, for me, yes, Edington, I came into it. No, but I hate that the early reception already colored what I went into it expecting to pick it apart because so many people were weird, feeling some type of way.
Well, when it premiered at Cannes, it got pretty strong divisive reactions. I would say more negative than positive, but there had its supporters, and then it hits theaters and it gets the conversation gets more interesting because then a lot of the film heads really like it, but then others also really hate it. Yeah. So
I have seen a lot of 5-star reviews for this movie.
Yeah,
like a lot of people who are like, this works for me, and all the ways that it didn't for me. And I think what
my answer for those people is, did you not go to therapy during COVID?
Maybe not. Probably not.
Because it feels like a therapy session.
It definitely. Honestly. I will say, I do think in my review I wrote that this is, up to this point, we've had a lot of movies that have been trying to depict COVID, that period of COVID, 2020, when all, the anxiety, the panic, the paranoia, is the world ending? Is it whatever?
Is it real?
Is it what? Yeah, literally all those questions, all of those questions, right?
That is discussed in the movie.
It is discussed in this movie in a huge, pronounced way. And I do think this is a lot of movies up to this point have tried to depict that period in a gimmicky sort of way in different movies. I think
this tries to portray it as I mean, obviously Ari Aster's version, but it is the closest to how we all felt when things were happening.
The sinking, like, dread, kind of like everyone is living on their phone, and there's all these conspiracy theories. Everybody's like, it was just
everyone's like, can I trust this? The guy's not got a mask, or they have a, you know, and everyone.
I'm not wearing my mask. Yeah. You should wear your mask. All of that stuff.
Are you virtue signaling? That means you're actually a piece of shit.
Exactly.
It's like, and then it's like, well, you're not wearing a mask, so does that make you a good person? Like, it gets into a lot of those things.
In the way that, like, I would say something like The Zone of Interest, a far superior movie, may not be for everyone, but I do think it captures in a very just like poignant way, like just, you know, like what the chilling, you know, disassociation from barbaric cruelty happening just beyond this wall, and you're just tending to your roses while people are being incinerated alive, and it doesn't affect you at all. It captures that kind of thing in a way that I don't think any movie about COVID thus far has. So I do think it's a cultural artifact that will be useful 10 years from now if we want to talk about what that era was like.
I think it's going to age well.
I do think that it will too,
and I don't like it, but I think it's going to age well.
Exactly. I think like what the verve and the tonality of it is definitely palpable throughout. I just have issues with it structurally. I have issues with some of its messaging or lack thereof.
Well, that's the problem,
because the idea is what's the tagline that really does unlock it for me.
The tagline.
That's what unlocked it for me. Where I was like, I needed him to take a stand. And the issue is that he doesn't take a stand on it.
Hindsight is 20/20.
Okay, no,
that's one of
them. There's some. You're being manipulated or something like that. It's like but either way, it's very very much like, who can you trust? Which sources are, you know, like everything. Everybody's heightened. Everybody has a platform. Everybody is, you know, the expert on something they've never researched, and it creates this division that is just impossible to kind of, you know what I mean, get out of. But
so yeah, I'm trying to find this other tagline, and it's not coming up for me. But I'll fill the air for a second while maybe you can find which one you're looking at, because I don't want to like let that sit. Listen, here's the thing about this movie. I think Ari Aster is a remarkable filmmaker. I love that he's making movies. I love that he's taking some crazy bold swings. I love that he's willing to go places no one else will go. Now, that said, there is a flip side of the token, and I also said the same thing about
Vox Lux.
Vox Lux. Well, the director,
Brady Corbet.
Brady Corbet, thank you. The same thing with him is you're doing stuff, and there's a fine line between bold, taking big swings, and then there's what I like to call, the word is edgelordy. Mm-hmm. And one of them, that line can get pretty thin sometimes, but one of them I feel like is you're just doing it because you know it's going to make people mad, and there's that's the edgelordy side. And then there's the more, like, what I would say is appropriately provocative, bold, which is you're doing it to sort of try to evoke a specific thought process. And I think for me, for most of Edington, it airs more on the edgelordy side, where it's like, yeah, COVID was crazy, right? Yeah, it was crazy. You remember when like half of the country, they're and your relatives that you love, their brains turn to mush because of all the worms on the internet feeding in their brain. You know, wasn't that crazy? Yep, that was crazy. You remember how tech companies started to just pop up with AI, and wasn't that crazy? That was great. So what?
Yeah.
And there's not a so what. That's my issue with it.
Yeah.
I think it's hitting on it's capturing a lot of like authenticity of the moment. Yeah. And in fact, I also think the filmmaking here is great. There are some sequences in here that, in my opinion,
the third act is
great.
Whoa, like that.
It takes some big swing, the big plot twist. I think there's some sequences that are as good as top shelf Coen Brothers neo-noir westerns in this movie. But also, I'm like, but the thing about the Coen Brothers is like, I know what they are doing a thing. They're clearly trying to like lead you down this thought process, or this character means a certain thing, you know. Anton Chigurh is chaos. Anton Chigurh is death. Like, what does that mean in the context of death is coming even for the mob? Like, in this movie, I'm like, okay, so what? What am I supposed to take away from this movie? And because there's not a clear so what, I think it would be very easy for someone to wildly misinterpret what the takeaway is supposed to be. Is the takeaway supposed to be, I mean, I don't want to spoil the movie, but like the leftists are after us, I could see someone walking around that movie being like, yeah, that is what's going on, you know, there's not a clear point of view.
He leaves it so open, and by not taking a stance, that the wrong people can take this and mold it to the way people do on the internet with any piece of information, you know, like, and so it definitely, in that way, by not taking a stance, it's like, it'd be nice to know, like, if you had a point of view about this, and in this case, it's just like, here are a whole bunch of very varied perspectives, and he's giving weight to each one of them, but not saying anything, in much the same way that I feel like Civil War, similarly, not taking a stance somehow neuters, you know, the overall impact, because, you know, like you said with Civil War, you could do the same thing. You could, like, okay, this is
what am I supposed to take
action
with this? I mean, you know, it's a call to action. The president's, you know, I just feel like it's kind of tone deaf, honestly.
Yeah.
That's my perspective. Now, Joaquin Phoenix, amazing performance. Pedro Pascal, by the way, we didn't mention this in the trends, but this is the summer you could not escape him.
That was the trend. The trend was Pedro Pascal. 5 movies, guys.
I mean, it's got so many. The filmmaking is so good. I just wish he had a perspective, a useful perspective. Because I would argue, and this is just me, we're still living in the aftermaths of COVID, and we as a culture have not fully processed it.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at this and say, this movie helped me process that, I guess I can understand.
Yeah.
But like the flip side of that is, because it's so raw and unfiltered and lacks introspection, it's like, it'd be easy for people to just totally walk away with the wrong ideas.
Right.
And it's almost like a 2.5 hour long movie. Yeah. There's lots to like here. I don't hate it. I don't like it. I don't know what to say. It's a movie that needs to be talked about, though, I think.
Absolutely. There's a discourse around it, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be surprised if this shows up at the Oscars, honestly. Like, there's a lot of really powerful performances. The cinematography is really top-notch. The score's good. So, you know, I'm glad Ari Aster's still making movies. Yeah.
I'm glad he gets to make movies that he wants to make, and that they're weird as hell, and that someone's bankrolling this shit, because, hey, I want people who are creative to make their things, you know.
One of the final thought you mentioned Vox Lux, because you and I had talked about this.
Yes.
Now, I think this is a better movie than Vox Lux, personally. I think it's a lot more cohesive and complete in its thought process, even if I feel like it's a little unexamined. But the commonality is, this made me mad in the same way Vox Lux made me mad, because in Vox Lux, the movie opens with a school shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wowza, this is a thing that we're still living through. Jason's got kids in school. I'm sure anyway, it's a very sensitive, intense subject. That's a very visceral fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there is room on the big screen to have a meaningful dialogue about that subject. But if you put a school shooting in your movie, my brother, you better have something
to say about it.
And he did not.
He used it as shock
value.
And I felt that felt gross.
It feels very gross, and it's like you're just trying to make us mad and feel icky. And I think this Edington's a better movie, but I think this is a similar approach with COVID. Like, Black Lives Matter, all the stuff we were about COVID, we're just gonna throw it all out there. Yeah,
everything.
I'm just trying to get
everything that happened.
No, it was funny. There was literally at least twice I'm in the movie theater, and it's like a half full theater on like a Sunday afternoon or whatever it was, and I don't do this very often, but there was like 2 times where they would it was a catchphrase from COVID, and I just went, ugh.
Yeah.
And I don't do that often, but it was like, I was like, oh no, don't do that. And I was like, I could see where you don't do it. Yeah. Oh, you said it. Ugh.
Okay. Yep.
But anyway, that is Edington discourse via the Cinematic Schematic. We can finally move on to the random pick.
Oh boy.
For this round.
I'm nervous.
What do we got? War of the Worlds, baby. War of the Worlds.
The problem is, I haven't seen a lot of this stuff that's left, so I'm hoping that it's...
Oh, come on. Yeah, Ballerina. From John Wick, the world of John Wick. Have either of you guys seen this movie?
Of course so. Of course I've seen it.
You did see it?
I did see it.
All right, okay, cool. Well, what did you guys think of Ballerina?
Look, this was about the best, like, post John Wick. Like, I did not expect this to be a good movie. Let me just put it that way. And I don't think it's a great movie. But I do think that it's fun. It's still visceral. It still has that, I don't know, that, I mean, the choreography and the action is not of the same caliber, but it's still...
Until it is.
And this is fair, but it does still, you know what I mean? Like, it has weight to it in ways that I was not expecting. And I don't think it's a perfect movie, but it was a perfectly serviceable, continuation from this universe that worked for me as like a pretty solid like B movie compared to its great four movie franchise.
I would push back in that, yeah, I agree with everything you said. There are parts of the movie that are definitely not John Wick tier.
Sure.
And then there's the reshoots, which I feel like are extremely apparent. You're like, oh, Chad Stahelski came back and filmed these himself.
Mm-hmm,
and you can see it pretty night and day.
Yeah.
And those sequences, in my mind, are pretty fantastic.
They know what we like about that franchise, and
Yes.
a lot of that is still here, even if it's not of the same caliber that
Right.
was. Yeah.
Jason, what'd you think?
I love John Wick. I don't think I can rank them. I can't say one's better than the other. I love all four of them.
They're great.
Give me all of it. I love it. I love Ana de Armas.
Yes.
Follow her on Instagram.
Okay.
I think this movie is okay at best. I thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah.
I was excited because it has a lot of the ingredients that I like and want, and it just didn't do it for me. I know why they had to put John Wick in the marketing. It would have been so much better if it was like somebody's on his way and we know who it is, and then here's who shows up. I get it. They're trying to sell the movie. They want Keanu. We knew about the reshoots. We knew they put Keanu in it. I get it.
It deflated it, though.
But it's just such a better movie if they don't have him at the beginning. We don't need him bumping into each other. We need him coming in at the end.
Right.
And it would have been just such a better movie, such a better reveal. It's too long. I'm really kind of disappointed in it because I did want it to kick off another franchise within the franchise, and it still might. But it isn't something that I was going like, I kind of want to see where Ballerina goes next. It didn't do it for me.
Okay. It did not perform very well. I think I heard they lost like $30 million on the movie, which is because it was the extensive reshoots. It made it a lot more expensive than I think the initial scope was.
Sure.
Here's the thing. I really liked it. It wasn't great. I think it was fine. I think the without spoiling it, but there's some pretty amazing set pieces in the end, like the flamethrowers.
Sure.
It did deliver on stuff where you're like, oh, this feels John Wick because I've never seen this before. But to your point, Jason, massive waste of Ana de Armas because here's the thing: they're treating her like she is John Wick, but she's not Keanu Reeves. She's Ana de Armas. We saw her in Bond, and we saw that was the kind of energy I want to see her in a spy assassin movie. They treat her, but they write her as if she's a John Wick-esque silent type. And I'm like, that's not really her strength.
Make her so much more training. Incorporate dance into the action.
Right.
Why? It's just such a wasted opportunity that it is this character of ballerina, but then there's nothing about it other than she is a ballerina that has anything to do with this story.
Nope.
And by the way, ballet shoes are made to where all ballerinas' feet bleed.
Yes.
They're made to where you don't get blood all over the stage.
Right.
I mean, little things like that where it's like, guys, what are you doing? It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
There's some timeline issues too. I've heard other people break it down of like, well, wait a minute. If you look at what happened in John Wick, it doesn't make sense.
No. Like, okay, because I didn't think too hard on it because I didn't like the movie and I didn't feel strongly enough to think
others
have
done this.
But I was thinking that time. I'm like, wait a second. So they meet each other. It would have been John Wick 3 in the middle of John Wick 3.
Right.
And then he comes back. But isn't he an outcast at the point he shows back up? It doesn't make sense.
And that, I think
he's been excised by Angelica Houston's he's already been kicked out of the group.
It's also like his finger should be gone at one point and it's not. I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, listen, I know these are dumb assassin movies, but that kind of stuff.
But they're awesome.
They are awesome. I love them. I have all 4 on 4K on my shelf.
Yep.
Big fan. Okay, but I'm glad we got Ballerina because that was a movie also that like came and went, and I think people talked about it for maybe a week, and then we all forgot it existed. All right, let's do one more for the random pick, guys. All right, let's see what else let me make sure to take Ballerina off the table, and let's see what's gonna be our last movie. Could it be Megan 2.0? Could it be Elio? Could it be Karate Kid Legends? Could it be? Oh, it is Elio.
You nailed it.
All right. Well. Elio, Pixar's latest release in theaters featuring aliens, another film that has undergone I mean, I guess reshoots, but the delayed production. This movie, I think the first teaser for this, I need to go back and date it, came out like a couple of years ago.
I think it did.
And then it sat on it. They took it back to the drawing board and did a massive overhaul on it. And we finally got the movie this summer. And it kind of tanked the box office, unfortunately. And it did not, unfortunately, unlike Elemental, which also tanked, air quotes, had legs. This movie did not leg out at all. I thought it was pretty good. I wouldn't say like top tier Pixar, but I would say top-ish of the middle, you know, in terms of like their whole body of work. I thought it was really charming. I liked the message with the parents. I like how they did the Pixar thing where you have these obvious, how are you going to make this obvious menace sympathetic? And they found some cool ways to do that. And I thought the animation was great. But, you know, it's not like life-changing.
Bottom
Pixar.
tier.
Ooh, bottom tier.
It was bad. This movie's bad.
Ooh,
it's
wow.
not funny. There's not. You know what I want? I want Pixar to make a movie about how it's great when you learn to be yourself. Oh, wait, that's every Pixar movie of the last 10 years. I'm so over this idea that they just keep putting back out there. In the old days, they used to tear apart these movies. Remember, they'd put them together. Then they would, I think they called it the brain trust. Could be wrong on that. And they would go back and they'd go, nope, not good enough. And they would put it all back together. So I'm not opposed to that concept that they did for this movie, but it's just not good. Mm-hmm. I thought everything about it was not that interesting. I mean, I guess you could say it's sentimental at the end. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I mean, I guess the decision that's made at the end is sweet. But otherwise,
a Pixar movie's sweet.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm completely out on it. There was nothing about it that I liked.
Ah, that's a bummer. Laron, what was your take here?
I don't have one because I unfortunately didn't catch this one.
Oh, okay. Well, Disney Plus.
No, you're lucky.
It's one I'll catch on Disney Plus.
Well, that's the thing. I don't feel like, I mean, like, listen, I liked a lot more about it than you, Jason, but it's not one. And I was like, well, I think people should go see it because I think it's good. And frankly, I'm just rooting for Pixar to make money again.
Well, I'm rooting for it. I love Pixar. I mean, that's the problem is that I know what Pixar is capable of.
Yeah.
And hey, they're a victim of their own success. I mean, maybe that's an unfair bar to give it, but it's just not very good. And I actually really liked Elemental.
I did too. Yeah,
and I was glad it had the legs that it had, but this one's just not good.
Well, I just hope Pixar, I hope we one day regain its greatness where it's like, that was another one for 15 years. Pixar's got a movie.
Didn't have
Everyone
a miss.
shows up, makes $1 billion.
Yep.
Didn't have a miss. Now it's hit and miss.
Yeah, very hit or miss. So, well, that's a bummer that it didn't work for Jason. Again, I'm not saying it was great. I would say probably middle, topish of the middle, but it's not a must see. I think Disney Plus, it'll be fine. But sweet, cool. Aliens are fun. Well, gentlemen, I think we're about out of time. Do we have any other movies we want to call out before we wrap up today's conversation and get to a letter grade?
I'm gonna shout out Spike Lee's Highest to Lowest. I just saw this one.
It's one weekend only, by the way.
1 weekend only. Oh,
in theaters.
Oh, wow.
It's Apple TV.
It's Apple. It'll be out on Apple TV.
A couple
soon.
weeks.
Yeah, I think it's like September 15th or something like that.
I think the combination of Spike Lee and Denzel is just it's the Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. It's like this is their 5th collaboration. I will say this is not my favorite of their collaborations, but it's a fun one, and it's definitely very modern, and definitely it got all the Spike Lee, the tracking shots, the things that you're used to seeing in a Spike Lee joint. And I felt like it was just really electric to see Denzel and A$AP Rocky have a lot of electricity between the two of them throughout the project. So but yeah, I have some issues with the score. Kind of hate it, honestly, but like top tier, bad score for me, like Hallmark level bad. That's
disappointing.
And it's just strange. It's a strange choice for the overall project. Took me out of a lot of scenes, but man, whenever it's cooking, it's really cooking though.
That is hitting Apple TV Plus on September 5th, so not long from now.
So just happened. I mean, it's a couple weeks.
Yep, coming up fast. I'm excited to check it out. I was really bummed I missed this one. Listen, Spike Lee's not perfect, but I usually I at the very least admire him, and oftentimes I really like his movies. So excited to see that, and him and Denzel. Come on,
yeah.
Jason, anything you want to call out?
I mean, we really talked about everything. There's other movies that I've seen, and I would maybe have some middling opinions on, but nothing that deserves any more air.
Clout.
Yeah, I mean everything. We pretty much hit. I hated Karate Kid Legends. Other than that, I mean, just
Yeah, no, I mean, we've called that out on previous shows, but Predator: Kill of Killers, fun time. I mean, it's an animated movie I expected nothing from, and it actually ended up being super cool and, nice little promo for the upcoming Predator Badlands.
I think that's a good example of what you can do with animation that you may not be able to pull off live action.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it does a lot of really interesting. What's funny is the people who worked on the movie had never worked on an animated movie before.
Oh, yeah.
Which is super cool.
Oh, wow.
Knocked it out of the park, yeah. And again, I think when we talk about the strategy of comboing streaming with theatrical, I feel like, again, I would have loved to have seen Killer of Killers on the big screen, but this is a great, we got a movie coming out later this year. Here's this really badass one to get you hyped and up to speed. So, otherwise, we already said F1's great. So there was a Wes Anderson movie in there somewhere, but, we'll have to save that for another day. What letter grade would you give summer 2025 at the movies, Laron Chapman?
Man, I would give it a B-. I'd say that there were a couple of hits. To quote highest to lowest, there were some high highs and some low lows. So I feel like there's definitely a handful of movies here that I quite enjoyed, and then there are a handful of movies here I really didn't. So I'd give it a B-. Above average, but not high.
Yeah. I feel that for sure. Jason?
Yeah, I give it a B. I mean, I could go with B-. I'd give it a B. I thought there was enough that I really enjoyed. I thought there were, I think, 2 movies this summer that will go into the rotation for the rest of my life, which is F1 and Weapons. And I think for a summer at this point to have 2 is pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, full-time rotation. I like to hear that. I would say I'm going to give it a B- as well. Superman, but that's because I'm a Superman fan. But I actually have a Superman movie I can get excited to rewatch. So there's that. I think Weapons is a big one, and then 28 Years Later for me. That's an incredible movie. Yeah. So, but I will say outside of those, it felt like a lot of mid-tier stuff that I kept saying it's been a pretty good summer. But then I looked back at the list. I'm like, there was a lot of stuff I liked enough and enjoyed.
Lots of 3.5 star.
3.5, 4 stars. Not very many 4.5 stars. But I would say that. But overall, B-. I think we've had better summers, but we've certainly had
worse ones.
Much worse summers. Well, just to close this out, we're going to go on a short hiatus. We're going to be back in October with one thing after another, or one battle after another. But here's a few movies we got coming in the pipeline for the second half of the year. I'm curious if any of these jump out at you guys. So just a few that I pulled. There's so much more that aren't listed here. The Long Walk, by the way, I'm hearing is very good, by the way. I thought I wasn't sure if that was going to be good or not.
Okay.
Big Bold, Beautiful Journey. That's the latest movie from Kanaga. I'm saying his name right. And it stars Margot Robbie. So very curious about that one. I've heard some good buzz. This is probably top of my list. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. Yep. This has been his dream project, basically his whole career, and he got Netflix to give him basically unlimited money to make it. Jacob Elordi, Oscar Isaac, and of course our dame. Oh gosh, ex Pearl. Mia Goth, thank you. Names today. Tron Ares could go either way.
The second trailer is good.
The second trailer is great, and I like things about both the Tron movies, even though I don't think either of them are the best. The Running Man, coming out, looks like a blast.
Looks fun.
Predator Badlands. Oh, I know this one, Jason's got to be your number one, though. Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
No.
No.
I don't like those movies. I like real magic. I don't like CGI magic. It's dumb.
It's we have bad writing. We say it's magic. That's how it works. That's how I feel about those franchises. Wicked for Good. And then Marty Supreme, a few of the names, and obviously Avatar, Fire and Ash. Any movies in particular you guys are very excited?
I'm excited that Laron and I want to see Wicked for Good.
I do.
Right? Okay, good. Because I know a lot of people are not into Wicked. I'm
you either are or you aren't, and I get it. It's your thing or it's not. And if it's your thing, then I think it's a good example of the thing.
Wow. I'm into it.
I liked Wicked. I'm not nearly as into it as either of you, but I dug it. It should have been a little shorter, the first part.
I mean, they make a meal out of it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I was pleasantly surprised. I think my biggest takeaway is, man, you had some beautiful sets that was just flattened with the lighting.
No, bad.
But musical talent. The songs are bangers.
Yeah, the songs.
The moments, the key moments that matter really land for me. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our review of summer 2025. What was your favorite film of the summer? What did you think overall? You can hit us up on Facebook.com/The Cinematropolis or on Instagram @The Cinematrop. Laron Chapman, tell the folks, you're working on a cool thing. Where can they keep up with the cool thing that you're working on?
They can follow me on my social media just under my name for now. But yeah, have a new feature film in the works. I'm excited to dig more into that more elaborately in the coming months. So called "To Make the World Quiet" is the title of the film.
Very nice. And they can keep up with that just by following your socials, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Great
cool.
title.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, very exciting title. Jason Black, where can people follow you?
I do on Instagram, FlickKicks23. I pair a pair of shoes with the movie. It doesn't always work, but you know what? It's a project.
Have they given you free shoes yet?
Not yet, and that's my entire goal. And I think it's not going to happen. But I'm really trying.
Yeah.
We're going to make that happen for you, Jason.
Really?
Yeah. I know a guy who has a shoe podcast. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking.
I would love to meet him.
I'll find out. Well, listeners, check out Jason's Flick Kicks on Instagram. Follow me on all the socials at C Masters Talk. That's letter C Masters Talk. Or just go follow us over at thecinematropolis.com. I'm sure we will have probably some written content or surprise drops in the next month, a little less frequently. But check us out there. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. We'll be back again in a month to talk about one battle after another, Wednesday, October 1st. Until next time.